Okay. This is not even worth putting on the video projector. Oh dear. I don't put rubbish up on the video. I don't put rubbish up on the video projector. And this Abyss 4K is rubbish. I think 20 years of mostly not myself bitching, whining, or moaning. I often say, yeah, where's the Abyss? When's it coming? And that's probably once every few years. I don't whine about the damn thing every damn single day like all these choir boys on bloody Blu-ray.com crying like, when's the Abyss coming in Blu-ray? And then when's it coming in 4K? Because, you go from the Blu-ray format and then 4K gets introduced. And then now everyone's thinking, 4K is the answer to everything, but it's not. You know what they say? Too many chefs, they spoil the broth. And I tell you, the image, it looks so, it is so DNR. It is so plastic. It's got no integrity of the actual what is. It's still there. I'm sure they got the negatives, but they need to. What they need to do is do like a DNR version, because if they do all these versions, why don't they do a DNR version and do one where it's got the fricking grain and scratches and heck, even the Q dots up there would be enough to give a wow, a flashback. But not Q dots are not necessary, but Q dots are only there if you got A, B, C, D projectors and you're doing changeovers. That's if a cinema thinks, oh yeah, let's do it by reels, and you got two projection operators, or maybe they might be free in booth, one having coffee and chit chat, and then that's usually how it's done. But you make up the print and it goes on a cake platter, and then we always see the Q dots. Oh gosh. Anyway, this version of the Abyss, it sounds like it's mixed for a bloody soundbar. Really? Well, that was inevitable because I knew it was going to be a near field mix. Oh dear! So crying out loud, not only AI and digital noise reduction is totally ruining it, but the the sound. Oh, where's the bloody hell? Where's the dynamics? It's not just case. Oh, it's a Disney sort of thing issue. No, it's just a near field mix. Crikey, this one should be side by side with the Blu-ray of the bloody Willow. So if I put Willow on THX Laserdisc theatrical mix, freaking heck, the bass is just pressing into my body. It presses into my body. Crying out loud, I think what Tom Holman and George Lucas set out to put bloody right with theatrical sound being exhibited, playbacked. Oh, crying out loud, that's all in vain. Because all the crap I see now on YouTube with these SEMTI, Society of Motion Picture Television Engineers, and you get these, I don't know who the heck they are, but they say, "Oh, we're trying to make standards and we're trying to improve this," and I'm thinking, I'm scratching my head, thinking, but that's already been accomplished by Thomas and Holman and his THX team back in the 1980s through to the 90s. Now THX today is not really even the. I tell you, I even noticed this that on that video when it was the Abyss was screened at that cinema, and I'm thinking, and got James Cameron walking down, and then when the camera's moving, and then looks, and I think, what? The film's still bloody playing. That's not how you do presentation. Was he in a bloody rush or a hurry? Like, huh? He always is, you know? And even more worse, more insult to injury. Bloody hell, the projectionist has obviously muted the fader and they got the house lights up while and they put the bloody chairs there. And I even noticed when, oh yeah, the THX thing, oh, they've even changed that because they played the special edition version at that screening, not the theatrical version. But even still, it's been tinkered with. It doesn't give me a flashback. So the only one that's going to give me a flashback, even though the end credits are shortened on the theatrical version, because I was thinking, hmm, let me repeat that again because I want to play the end. And I'm thinking that seemed to be a little bit short because originally it was a bit short for the theatrical run, and then it was just extended just a little bit, and the credits themselves laid out differently. So when they play, but okay, the credits look smooth on this, but it looks a little bit too synthetic. um, yeah, yeah. So yeah. It's just the surrounds playing, the screen channels are muted. This is where the die hard Abyss Dolby THX fans start raving when it comes up. But it's like, what? I'll tell you the reason why. I'll tell you what I believe the reason why it's coming up. Can I just clear that off the screen? And the reason it says that there now is because THX has gone through different change of hands, okay, since early 2000s, and then they, usually the products you buy, receivers and such, they would just say Lucasfilm Limited THX. But since it's gone through a second hand, a change of hands, now it just says THX. And I think because it's really no longer in the house. It's founded by George Lucas and Thomas and Holman, but it's no really longer in the house. And just seeing THX logo sort of thing there is it's just not the same because on the DVD or the AC3 laserdisc, it will say Lucasfilm Limited THX sound system, as well as the logo itself looking a little bit different. So yeah, I even spotted that, and that was very with the that was in a very narrow angle because there I can see them there on the stage. James Cameron over this side, I think, and someone over this side interviewing, and it was very cropped on the screen, and all I saw was just a little sliver, and I knew, oh no, they've altered because because it's gone through change of hands over the years because it's Razor. I wouldn't touch anything. I wouldn't touch anything THX today that's under the Razor brand. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Why would I? I've got the professional version in my kitchen. I think that's probably by far the classic THX sound system booth crossover monitor they made, the 3417. Of course, the original one was the DBX THX 900, which was just a card frame, and then the cards virtually more or less the same. They've only had slight modifications in the component parts, but virtually the same the card and the first THX crossover system was totally different because it didn't have a speaker built in for audio monitoring. So you're going to have something else additional in the booth, probably to do that. So you can, but mm. So that was 1993, no, 1983. No, I'm thinking this one was, the what's it, special edition, and then of course the 3417 1987, and then the D1, the D11, the D1138. That was around 2000, I think, early 2000s. That was a DSP version, very heavy, very complicated to bloody operate because you need bloody software. I've got software to run one, but I can't be bothered to because I prefer the original, or rather, I prefer the second generation version. Um, hmm. Dear oh dear, this abyss is absolute. It's going to make me feel sick. Sick. Oh, because it's not giving me a flashback. I don't really need to do Spectrum Lab frequency responses on this. I really don't need to because I only have to play back, say, the theatrical version on Laserdisc, which is in the thumbnail, and then they've got the Blu-ray on one side of the thumbnail, and on the other side got the DVD Region One. But this is just absolutely appalling. Maybe they made some improvement in the documentary that might be worth watching again. But oh no, oh crikey, colorists and all this crap they stick on the end. Oh, 4K mastering. There's a lot. There's people debating on Blu-ray.com whether it's a 2K scan, a 4K, whatever. Oh god, what does it matter? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what it is. It's a garbage trash version that goes in. That is definitely heading into the cat litter box. Park Road Post. New Zealand. Yeah, I've heard of that. That's something to do with that bloody what's it? Board of the Rings, isn't it? And I don't even watch those movies anymore. I don't like the color on those Lord of the Ring movies. I just don't like the color. It looks crap. It's like otherworldly sort of thing. If that was done back in the 1980s or something, after they did the animation one, it would probably have real color rather than these weird colors they got. And I think with overdone too much CGI, it's like they got so much overdone CGI, they got to give it a weird color look. Is that the excuse? I can't watch a movie with like that. It might as well just be an animated movie. I don't care. I don't care for watching. Ugh. When I when we dream, when we have dreams, we see vivid colours. I don't know. Don't ask me how, but we see vivid, lifelike colours. We don't see it all weird or anything. You know, you got to eat a lot. You got to eat quite a bit of cheese or a certain brand of cheese to manifest a dream, and it's not always guaranteed to have a dream after munching on cheese on toast or raw cheese. It's not always guaranteed. It a manifestation dream could take days until it happens. But when you think, wow, I've had a few, but I've not had any recently because it depends on the cheese, I guess. Yeah, all this 4K mastering crap. There wasn't anything else I saw there, so I'm guessing because there's some behind the scenes stuff nonsense because I'm curious. So, in a nutshell, I'm going to have to. This is not approved. That doesn't get the THX validation of approval or cat approval. This definitely goes in the cat litter. And I might as well just do it now, just so this gets the cat litter award. Especially with that bloody artwork. And they got to use the same bloody artwork on the bloody menu. Oh, whoever did that, please don't give up your day job. Go and work. Go and work at flipping pizzas at night time at a Burger King, please. Because that goes into some. Oh, that goes into cat litter. There we go. Gets the cat litter. And I have to say, I've got to change the cat litter because that is stale. Oh dear. Oh dear. See, it's still sticking to the. I've got to change that cat litter. So that's all been in vain. All the whining and bitching and moaning for 20 years or something. When's the Abyss coming on Blu-ray? When's the Abyss coming on 4K? That's all in vain. It's not an opinion. It's just based on, I think, professionalism, because that is, are you Abyss a professional? No, you're not. Get it out of my player. Because that is a bloody near-field mix. It's bloody mix for a bloody soundbar, for Christ's sake. Oh, it's embarrassing. You get a Blu-ray disc in here. I don't really care for that. You know, a good mind to hold that in my hand and just bend this disc, and then it would be fucked. I wouldn't hesitate myself to throw it in the bloody food blender. Because I'd rather suffer watching and tear my eyes out watching that. Even though it's got some video flaw in it, but I have to say it's not as butchered as because it's I mean, even that version's got a little bit more bass on it on the screen channel. I'll get to it in a moment. Bloody lossless audio, I can tell you, lossless audio is a scam. I don't know why everybody eats it up. You can look at all the bloody bit numbers and all that until you're blue in the face. It's when you're actually listening to it, and it's like, what the bloody hell? Where's the bloody bass gone? Where's the sudden slam and all this gone? You put the DVD on, that happens to be a-okay, and you get the slam, you get the bass. Grab a laser disc of the same, maybe an AC3, it might be DDS, it might be just Dolby Stereo, and then you say, whoa, it's got bass there, slam, And you get some versions that don't, and it's a mixed bag sort of thing, you know. Because I've been sound rehearsing with the other DVD this morning, and I thought after that I'll take a little break, have a little cat nap, because I didn't think that disc would turn up today, because of delays or something. Oh, yeah. I couldn't care less why it's been banned in the UK because of the rat scene. You know, James Cameron doesn't want to cut it. Oh, but he certainly wants to water down the dynamics. I thought he was all about technology and all that. And so why the bloody hell's he water it down? He waters down the image, makes it look like some sort of oh dear. What's this? Let's have a look. What's this? Some extras here. Aha, right. Gotcha. Okay.
The Abyss.
Okay.
Very good. Running some speed. So, The Abyss. So, The Abyss.
Yeah, The Abyss. I'm not really interested in seeing these what I'm focusing on here is the mixing console and the background. Um, doesn't look like to me. That doesn't look like Skywalker sound. That's not Skywalker sound. That doesn't look like it. At least if the camera moves around, and then I'll know. Yeah, because I know what the dub stages look like at Skywalker sound. Unless this could be New Zealand, one of those park post road things. That's easy. Just to Google something up and then just have a look at some pictures, because I'm curious where this was mixed. Because the DVD, oh sorry, the Blu-ray, the 4K. My goodness, I think James Cameron should dye his hair because now he looks like me. Uh, um, yeah, I can't stand this. Really can't stand it. Park Road. Park Road. Let's see. Let's have a look. Let's go to the. I can still let that play.
So, Buffalo, New York, to do this kind of science seminar that they had. One of the presenters was a guy named Frank Falechuk, who was a guinea pig.
A guinea pig. All right. Park Road. Park Road dubbing stage. Let's see. See if there's any pictures there. Might not be might not be I might have missed the keyword out. Oh, hang on. What's this one here? Aha. Uh-huh. Yeah, let's try Park Road post. Let's try a different keyword. Park Road post production. Go to images. Yeah, I could see this. I could see this sort of bluish, this light color coming down the sides. Let's have a look at that mixing console there. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's give you a clue where it. where this was mixed at, because I didn't see it on those end credits on the when you get a still image and it shows you post color and all this bloody nonsense. I don't really care about the colorist. I think the colorist is bloody colorblind. Yeah, from where I can see the console, and it looks like it's raised up here on the seat on the steering or somewhere, and then it steps down because I think there's an exit door over one side I can see. Go back to the images. Yeah, it's a bingo. This was why the fuck has he had it remixed or whatever in New Zealand and not Skywalker Sound? I thought James Cameron was a big Skywalker Lucasfilm sound bloody guy. Huh? What's he changed his tune suddenly? Huh? Is he doing it for economics or something cheap or I don't know. I don't really care. So that's where, but why the bloody hell does it sound like garbage trash on the disc? I don't know. Really. Unless they done one mix that was slightly different, and then they'd done another mix that probably in a smaller room. Or they're just lousy and rubbish at mixing. Because I don't know. Oh yeah, so what? So this dub stage is THX certified. Yeah, so what? So what? Nearly most are now, but THX certified, but the sound mix on it is crikey. I got to put that DVD back on. I got to put that DVD back on in certain places. Where it just seemed to have some bass, a little bit of bass slam in there, a little bit of depth, under the water, the depth of pressure. Oh, Christ's sake. You have all this technology and oh dear, you make a mess of the bloody picture. It doesn't give me a flashback. It just doesn't give me a flashback to. I want to pinch myself and get a flashback, not think, oh, it's revisioned. It's revisioning time with color. Because when we look at real life, okay, film is inherent. It's got grain particles, things on it on the film. Okay, you get different grades of that, and some with very soft or minimal grain, and then you get ones that are a bit heavier with grain. But when we look at real life, it's only made up of two things. There's only two elements, two little elements that make up real life. It's called light and shadow. Light and shadow. Light and shadow. See, shadow there, and you get a little bit too over contrast because the camera on there is crap on this laptop. So that's why I use my other camera, and I can set the ISO levels and such. Otherwise, James Cameron's here in this, and he's all lit up very nicely. He's all lit up very nicely. See. Can even put the camera in this position. We can look up his nose. Oh yeah. Or look at that beard. Look at that beard. Oh yeah. Oh, that beard. All that's all lit up nice. So he looks nice, and makeup as well. For Christ's sake. Otherwise, if it was just quickly done, there'll be very large hot spots on his face with the lighting. Oh, that's why you get these hot spots here coming down, because it's not really hot. It's only a light up there on the bloody ceiling with a filter on it, for crying out loud. But anyway, light, shadow and light, shadow and light, light and shadow. See, it's what makes an image, and it's so pure. Or is it? The only time you see little particles of dirt or something is when you look up to any bright lights or such, or any bright colours or such, and you can see little particles of dirt that are on our eyes, and they're moving around. Oh, God, dear, dear, oh dear.
Frank Falechuk, who was a guinea pig in a science experiment where they filled his lungs with oxygenated saline.
Oh, crikey, he has to
And I
go
don't think
right
he had
out
the most
into the
pleasant
rat
time,
scene,
but he
doesn't he?
did
Oh, no. No, I'm not interested in the rat
that
scene.
did
Okay. These chapters. All right.
Giddings and I were starting to become
chapters. Oh, is that it? Oh, what the heck is that I'm seeing on this transfer? On that transfer, was that color banding noise? Was that bloody that? I tell you, I'd rather put on those other discs because one of my pet peeves is color banding noise. Since I bought these crappy Blu-rays or most of some of these crappy 4Ks, I've been noticing this color crap banding noise. Oh, that is one artifact you wouldn't even see in real life. Oh, not unless you're trying to create. Oh, look on these end titles here. I can see color banding noise effects here. And they always have this sort of curvy like. Oh, the first time I noticed that color banding banding noise, because I've actually projected fucking Titanic when it was back in 1998 up at Bristol, one of the new Warner Brothers cinemas in one of the very large auditoriums, and that was done by hand. I had with the other projectionist, me and she, we had to take turns turning the cake platter to wind off the film to the projector because the circuit card or one of the components on the circuit card had failed. And trying to fault find that it doesn't make any difference because I don't think we would have had components in the in the storeroom. May have a soldering iron and a voltmeter, but that's not going to help. But anyway, projection team was wandering for like half hour or so, more or an hour, an hour or half hour, because audiences were coming into the four main large auditoriums that were all booked up, and the medium-sized auditoriums, four of those, and then four smaller auditoriums. Though not all of all the auditoriums, most were not, um, were still being adjusted. But it was a premiere opening night. Damn, it always happens, doesn't it? And something goes wrong, and you think, how the heck are we going to get the film? Because the film, damn, the takeoff platter. Or no, the wind on, the wind off, the wind to wind the film back on. The motor for that card was working, except for the takeoff. And you can't just let the projector sprockets pull it, otherwise it'll put too much strain and the film will snap. So we had to roll it off nearly 3.5 fucking hours because you got advertisements, you got trailers, Dolby trailer, Titanic, crikey. And our hands were covered in black aluminium after the bloody evening. Oh, yeah. But first time I noticed this color banding noise shit was when I saw the 3D version of it at Tower Park in screen number 6, which is one of 2 large auditoriums. It was a digital, crappy 3D show, and I even threw the glasses away. I had no interest. I was only going there to see if how the sound mix is still, if it's still the same and that. Anyway, what I noticed was right at the very beginning, when the submersible sub, you see it coming down, descending, and then going down, and then it comes down, and then it pulls away, and then I noticed all round, as it's getting dimmer, and I noticed bringing, what the fuck is this noise? What the bloody hell is that? And so someone's told me recently it's color banding noise, or color compression. Oh dear, that is an artifact that I absolutely loathe. I can't stand it. Okay, now on here, it's moving around. It's wobbling around on the screen. Let's go back to the. So I'm not really interested in the what's it? Go back to where's the menu? Menus. Oh, yeah. I'll just have a quick little look at it, and I'm going to put the DVD back on, or the back in the player. Wonder if they've. It doesn't look like they've made any real improvements to the documentary.
I'm James Cameron.
Still looks like it was recorded on good old VHS tape.
Darkness and unrelenting pressure.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, oh yeah. And it's still framed in that, so no, they yeah. It still looks like YouTube quality.
Certification course in the Caribbean. Ed Harris joins them there, having learned how to
I only watched it last night.
But with the exception of Captain Kid Brewer, a seasoned professional, the cast has absolute.
Turn it off.
On the first day of shooting, Jim looks at us and says, "Hello, boys. Welcome to my nightmare."
Yeah, definitely. I've just definitely seen a nightmare on 4K. Sorry, James Cameron. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at what you've done to it. I'm sure he's a very competent filmmaker, but why this? And absolutely, I knew it was just going to be a load of rubbish. This is just one fucking waste of money disc that's going to end up on the shelf. Take it out of the player. Get it out of my fucking Panasonic. Oh, yeah, Magic. Do you want to use this as a scratching disc? Huh? I'll tell you what. Go and tie it to the scratching post, because that's all it's good for. Oh dear. That disc there. Bloody hell. That disc there is going to end up on YouTube not too soon. In full, so 30 minutes or whatever of that. Put this one back on. Let's just line up. And then that goes in there. And that goes over like so. Bloody hell, flimsy cases. Oh! I've got the laser disc already on the platter. Just got to see if the Sony is warmed up, because it's I've got to change I've got to do probably some capacitor changing on it. Oh yeah, play theatrical version. You had this cool menu, didn't you? Yeah. Got to go up to audio. You got this cool graphic, like the moon pool. Of course, you get THX on it. Just pause that for a second. So I've got to switch the Storm Audio sound over. I've got to go over to the other theatre mode. Theatre number 3. So theatre, the Dolby Atmos here is theatre number 1. So I've got to go over to another theatre mode, theatre number 3. Recycle. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and just suddenly the Storm's gone up to 75%. Because I've got the Sony turned on. Yeah, it's gone up to 75%. Yeah. That's annoying. Okay. All right. Turn the fader up. Let's try that again. I think I've got the other what's it turned on. Yeah, turn off and restart, because the fader's not inactive. The fader's inactive. So I've got it turned on the computer, on the processor, on the. So I've just changed it over on the laptop. So I've got two systems running. So they've got to be synced, or one turned off rather. Okay, that's reset. Turn that back on. Yeah, fader's active now. Okay. Go to main. Yeah. Okay. All right. Turn the fader up. Should go in a sec. Screw you, James Cameron, and your 4K. Oh, it's not a problem. So what? There's nothing wrong with this picture. Go there. Boom. Sorted. Use the expander. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, this is just what I feel like. The abyss. You know, he gets in there and he takes, you know. It's like, take that 4K disc and don't bother opening the door and pulling it out. That's what I feel like doing with it. Oh dear. You know, even though this scene here, you know, the colouring is a little pinky where you see the submersible. The chapters, they seem to be all in the same position as they were as with the other discs. The chapters are all in the same positions. I guess they will be the same with the probably the in some parts it will be a little bit longer or such with the special edition on the special edition laserdisc, whether it be the Dolby Stereo, whether the AC3 pan and scan or the AC3 letterbox.
065.
Because there are less chapters on the other laserdisc.
Ben, you online?
10-4 Lindsay, we read you loud and clear. Starting our descent. Divers, how you doing?
Everybody's okay so far.
Hang on, boys. It's all downhill from here.
Hey, how deep's the drop off here? Here's a mile and a spit, baby. 2.5 miles straight down.
So it's a little bit more bass over the screen channel.
10-4 Lindsay, we read you loud and clear.
Put the LFE on.
Everybody's okay so far.
Hang on, boys. It's all downhill from here.
Hey, how deep's the drop off here? Here's a mile and a spit, baby. 2.5 miles straight down. Cap 3, it's Bud. You online?
Cap 3, check. I'm right behind you.
Cap 1, do you see it yet?
Magnetometer's twitching, but I don't see anything yet. Hang on, I'm gonna test my strobes.
Cap 1, do you have a visual? Cap 1, do you copy?
Yeah, that's just got a little bit more bass on it. That's more like it. So where you see the where the submersible gets an eyeball on the back, the aft of the submarine.
Cap 1, do you have a visual?
It's just more. It's just a little bit more bass there across the screen channel. Whereas that pitiful 4K was like, it seemed a little bit watered. Watered down. Oh dear. Cry me a river, please, with that. Bloody hell, it's bloody awful, that 4K.
Roger that. Found it.
It's not as if you could say a 4K hater or 4K disliker. The specifications are all there. It's just these studios that are pissing around and farting around with it. Of course, I'm going to see the odd occasional interlacing lines on this transfer, but so what? It's video. It's video at the end of the day, just like the other one is. It's video, but it doesn't translate to looking like actual film. Even though there's a bit of slight DNR on this, because James Cameron's notorious. Even Thomas and Holman told me he was shocked when he saw, oh, there's a guy. He never actually met him, never actually had a kind of like conversation with the guy, but doing the transferring or such of True Lies. And what Tom said in an email with me, though I can't talk about other things, he was shocked with like what James Cameron was doing. Bloody over sharpened and looking, God, because when you look at it on Laserdisc, it looks like, oh my God, that's an eyesore. It hurts my eyes. it'd be interesting to well, I won't be getting it. Certainly won't be buying that disc, and I certainly won't be buying Aliens. But I can guarantee you that most of the dynamic range and all that bass in that True Lies with the Harrier jet and all that, you might as well just suffer with the Laserdisc on the DTS or the AC3, because at least it's a theatrical mix, for Christ's sake. And what's the point of showcasing your home theater with like the sound and the sub bass and all that, and 30 sub bass speakers? I mostly only use 2 at the front. I've got additional ones that I can use. Plus, I could do actual baby boom. I could divert the sub bass and put it up on stage channel 2 and stage channel 4 for Star Wars. How many home theaters can do that? I doubt even a Trinov could do that. You can't even program that into a Storm Audio. You got to do a special case wiring, and I can divert it and mimic the same. Oh wow, that's how it would have sounded. Of course, they were using probably voice of the theaters back then, Altec Lansings. And then Close Encounters, they started using or adopting using separate sub bass speakers, because they changed it. Even though the channels are still remaining behind the screen, so they probably had a switch or something off different thing in projection where whatever theater was the first one. Even though the end credits on this theatrical version are they look all dotty, like it's all around the text. It all looks like dots or something. And on the special edition one, doesn't seem to have that artifact. I just can't watch that 4K. It looks too plastic. It looks too like watching bloody synthetic bloody plastic. And I know the Laserdisc, I don't really have to play that. I know that's got the same boom bass impact when you see that, it's got a bit more bass there, for Christ's sake. It hasn't been watered down, hasn't been filtered, not tampered with. So you think if for those that haven't seen the Abyss or theatrically, or those that probably never owned a Laserdisc, or I suppose now you want to go out and grab that Laserdisc or play and do the comparison, I've just saved you the time. This version, the DVD, better in the sound. Even though the end credits play longer when they should be shorter, but there's an actual what's it? Actually, I think I did see something a little bit different. My memory is recalling someone did a 35mm scan of the end credits or something, the theatrical, and then that's on YouTube, and so you could look at how the credits are laid out on the screen and the running time, because I'm thinking there is a little bit more tinkering with the one other thing that bothered me. Which chapter is it? 1, 2, 3. Try chapter 41. Chapter 42. 43, 44. Oh yeah. I thought I was seeing things. It's okay. I thought I was seeing things. When you can't see it here because there's too much contrast on the camera, can't see it. I've got to turn the bloody contrast ratio down on the OLED. Yeah, wait, that's it. See, now you can see it. I thought this at the end. I thought that was CGI'd or something. I don't know. Maybe it was the motion of the image or something. Maybe it was the motion of the image. But I was thinking, well, I played it twice or maybe 3 times back, and I thought it looked a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it was just the motion. I'll put that back up. So it looks like I'm watching a dying xenon lamp. See, the camera can't see it unless I move the camera in very close, and then it can adjust to the contrast. Oh. Mm. 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 Yeah, because they extend the credits, don't they? With the music score and everything, and lay the credits out slightly different to make it run longer, which doesn't look too bad. Come on, it makes it look like it makes it look like an epic, you know. Like going for the longest end credit title, you know, because oh dear, I don't know how many movies through the 70s. You know, Star Wars was kind of epic, very short, and then Close Encounters, bit shorter as such, or maybe about the same running time, I think, maybe. And then Superman the movie, wow. And then those end title credits seem to play for like, bloody hell, when's the movie end? They seem to play on, but those damn was that music score brilliant. Mm. Yeah, the credits are at the moment. They look kind of okay. It's when it goes into when they're rolling. When the credits there start rolling, all the imaging around this, it all looks all dotty. It's all got some weird motion artifact going on in there. It looks, except for the special edition where it doesn't seem to have that artifact. Mm. Mm. I like that you can just press on there and then just bam, go to the chapter, because you can do it on the keypad. Whereas you've got to fuddle around with the other buttons on the other menus and start scrolling around and all that. Sometimes they don't do it. They don't do it on all DVDs or dual discs. Sometimes, you know, you just press the key on there and it only takes a couple of seconds. It's kind of like Clint Eastwood in the Firefox, a time reaction to what you see, and you know, and then hit your target. You know, you've got to have a thought sensory device, but I've got to think in Russian. Um, see if the laserdisc is up and running. got to change the aspect ratio because I've got to adjust it for the. Can I use the vertical? How does that look? Oh, that, yeah, I can use the vertical. That's okay. Just got to adjust it a little bit there. Should look about maybe about there, I think. Okay. I've got to go over to analog audio. Come out of there. Go over there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, it's already set. Okay. Hopefully it won't go pop, pop, pop on that. If it does, make a pop sound. That's the capacitors on the Sony.
$60 knots? No way, Buck.
Looks a bit.
The Reds don't have anything that fast.
Looks a little bit
Check
pinky.
twice. I mean, it's a real unique signature. No cavitation.
Oh, that's got very deep.
60 knots?
Looks a little bit pinky on that hue color. Oh, press the stop button. Clumsy me. Should have pressed the pause button. I don't like the layout on that remote. It's very hard to see where the layout on the other remotes got. The buttons are slightly different in the cosmetic design, and a bit easier to see. The pause is in the middle. That's it.
No.
That's the color shift there. And there. Shift it up there a little bit. Yeah, that's it. It's a little bit out of phase. That's it. Just shift it. Just adjust it there. That looks okay. You don't usually get these issues, but when you do, you got to be on the ball.
No way, Buck. The Reds don't have anything that fast.
Checked it twice.
Bit of
I mean, it's a
motion.
real unique
What's it?
signature. No cavitation.
Bit of interlacing
No
thing there.
noise.
I could change.
Doesn't sound like screws.
I could change the setting on the Panasonic.
What the hell is it?
I'll tell you what it's not. It's not one of ours. Sir, contact changing to heading 214. Speed 80 knots.
Adjust that down a little bit more so it looks a bit more like the letterboxing for scope.
Still diving.
Depth 900 feet. Port clearance 150 feet from the cliff wall, sir.
It's getting tight in here.
We can still give him a haircut. Helm, come right to 069er. down 5 degrees.
Having right 069er, down 5 degrees I. Port side clearance 120 feet, narrowing 75. Sir, we have a proximity warning light.
It's too damn close. You gotta back off. Sir, range to contact 200. Contact just checked to bearing 260 and accelerated to 130 knots, sir.
Nothing goes 130.
Sir, range to contact.
Any one of these
yards.
settings here probably
80
make the
yards,
image a little bit better. Wow. Wow.
It's turbulence. We're in its wake.
Helm, all stop. Full right rudder. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir. All stop. Full right rudder. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir. Right rudder. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir. Hydraulics restored. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir.
Got a little wire. I have to admit, I got a little wiring snagged behind the rack. I need to. I know what it is. I know what cable I need to go and tighten up that bloody XLR cable, because I've got a kind of special lead connecting, and one of the pins on. I need to either swap that XLR out, or no, I need to pull that tighten that pin up, expand it a little bit, and then push the pin back in, because it's just moving out of position a little bit. Slightly wobble the rack around, and then I can see the sound levels coming up on the VU meters.
All stop. Full right rudder. Hydraulic failure. Plane's not responding, sir.
Auxiliary power. The motors are back.
Restored, sir.
And you got the caution warning, bleep, 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 and then boom.
Collision alarm! Collision alarm!
Degrees. Give him a haircut. Helm, come right to 069er. Down 5.
Going over the wall. Coming to bearing 065. Flatbed, you online?
10-4 Lindsay, we read you loud and clear. Starting our descent. Divers, how you doing?
Everybody's okay so far.
Hang on, boys. It's all downhill from here.
Hey, how deep's the drop-off here? Here's a mindless pit, baby. 2.5 miles, straight down.
Flatbed, you online?
10-4 Lindsay, we read you loud and clear. Starting our descent. Divers, how you doing?
Everybody's okay so far.
Hang on, boys. It's all downhill from here.
Hey, how deep's the drop-off here? Here's a mindless pit, baby. 2.5 miles straight down.
Cap 3, it's Bud. You online?
Cap 3, check. I'm right behind you.
Cap 1, do you see it yet?
Magnetometer's twitching, but I don't.
Just
Cap 3, it's Bud. You online?
Cap 3, check. I'm right behind you.
Cap 1, do you see it yet?
Magnetometer's twitching, but I don't see anything yet. Hang on, I'm gonna test my strobes.
Cap 1, do you see it yet?
Magnetometer's twitching, but I don't see anything yet. Hang on, I'm gonna test my strobes.
Cap 1, do you have a visual?
wow.
Cap 1, do you copy?
Yeah.
Cap 1, do you have a visual?
Wow.
You have a visual. 1, do you have a visual? Cap 1, do you copy?
Yeah. Roger that. Found it.
Cap 1, do you Cap 1, do you copy?
Yeah. Roger that. Found it. Found it.
It's pretty good that they got to work with you know, a mix on an optical track, and the sound effects editing, and that the positions and the mixing and that, and you know, here click sounds, you know, where, you know, where things are, and you know, memorize it when you see it in the cinema, and you know. Wow. Oh, that's a bit of deep bass. Sadly, not on the 4K. Wow.
Cap 1, radiation reading.
Neutron counter's not showing much.
Alright, just continue forward along the hall.
Copy that. Continuing forward. You want me to get shots of everything, yes?
Roger that. Document as much as you can. Please keep moving. Remember, we're on a tight timeline.
Copy that.
Wow.
Of everything, yes?
Roger that.
What do they call this movie? An airbuster?
Document as much as you can. Please keep moving. Remember, we're on a tight timeline.
Copy that.
Wow.
Coming up from the midships hatch. You see it, Cap 3?
Yeah, Roger, I got it.
Yeah, well, that's that. Just fade it down. That's behaving. That's behaving. No. Despite, you know, it's a standard definition. It's laserdisc. It's laserdisc image. It's got a little bit of this and that, and I can see, you know, I can see some of these video artifacts, but I can deal with it. But I just can't deal with that 4K, with that lousy, bloody near-field mix and all that bullshit, lossless audio, Dolby Atmos. Oh, for Christ's sake! I'll tell you, some of the overhead sounds that they were doing in the like the beginning, like where you see the boy. Launch the boy. I was expecting to hear that going overhead. I heard that day one, bloody at the Odeon, at Cinerama downtown, going, shh, but not kind of like it. Kind of did a kind of a circly, kind of like over, but kind of a circly effect. You know, kind of made my head do that sort of thing, like see it, and then, whoa, wow! It was like bloody watching Star Wars on day one. God. But yeah, when that boy, no, it's going into the sighter rounds. If I wanted to make that boy go overhead, I just because with the system I can put in quite a few little things, and I could have that boy going literally overhead, but it doesn't go overhead. And it's like I'm waiting, thinking, and then, oh yeah, the helicopters are coming. When you first see the helicopters, nope, there's no overhead on the first helicopter flyby. And it's when they land, and then one helicopter starts taking off, and then now I hear it in the overhead, in one of the overheads, because apparently I was seeing on the indicators on the meters, I was seeing height 1, height 2. I don't know. It's weird how you define the words height. Because you got height, you got top layer, and all that. I just call them height channels, for Christ's sake. If you want to call it height and then top layer, be my guest. I just call them bloody, because I just need a few more JBLs screwed up on the bloody ceiling. If I can find any cheap ones, just a few more. And there'll be like height 1, height 2, height 3, height 4, height 5. That's standard coming out the processor. That's not bad. But I didn't notice anything going on. I noticed in one of the overheads, I think it could have been in the middle, where you don't really you see one helicopter landing, see the other one slightly taken off, and then it start. But wow, that was exciting. But they should have had that boy going overhead, because as it's firing away from the submarine, it's going upward and it's going at that angle. Whoever bloody did the remix on that, obviously they shouldn't be near a mixing console, much less be employed by the film industry. It's just a waste of time. And it's not an opinion, it's just a waste of time. Because Atmos at most times gets a little bit of backlashing, because it's like, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. They just simply don't know how to utilize those other channels. And they're not Atmos speakers. Those up on the ceiling, they are not Atmos speakers. They're just a speaker used for overhead surround. Might as well just have that's like you had the We Were Soldiers, the sonic hole overhead sound, and that comes out from Adobe SA10, or basically a simple matrix decoder that's Pro Logic, that's got that would have 4-channel outputs. When you look at EX, the surround EX version for home version, it only uses 3-channel outputs. Doesn't use 4, only uses 3. Most people were kind of curious, like how I was doing it years ago, because their receiver can't do it. They're doing it wrong. Just like that quote line in Backdraft, where he's getting ready, they're going in to go have a first firefight, aren't they? And he looks at his brother and he says, no, you're doing it wrong. You're putting your suit on wrong there, and do it right. You're doing it wrong. You're doing your home theaters wrong. Only very few in the home theater community would know what I'm talking about. And the rest, you don't know. You accept the processor that you got is all the bells and whistles. It is not. It's most of the. I mean, I'm guessing even the Storm Audio and the Trinov is a slightly watered down from, say, a CP850, or what the output is done through a CP850. I mean, CP850's been around for 10 years. And even now they got a CP950 and a CP950D. So, or was it a CP? Yeah, CCP 950 and 950D, I think. made a few improvements to the design, so it's got a touchscreen on it, whereas the 850 doesn't. But 850s are getting cheap. That sooner or later, most cinemas are going to be removing maybe an 850 or and then going with 950s. But all you need is all the other little bells and whistles go with it, and bam. I mean, look at that CP200. That took me a while. That took a while to get one of these. I've been after one of those for nearly over 20 years. Well, actually, a little bit longer. First time I ever saw one down at a local cinema downtown. I thought, wow, that looks so cool. Makes those home ProLogic things look like a toy. If I were to sell that CP200, most of you out there wouldn't be able to afford it because it would have an astronomical price. Not for being greedy, but just because of the rarity, because they're not made anymore, and there are no spare parts made for them anymore, and no servicing for it anymore. Only very few engineers, and so it's a guessing game sort of thing, especially with the bloody the bloody manual, crying out loud. That manual need to be rewritten because it's so unlegible to read in most parts, and follow the schematic diagram. It's so awkward. But that CP200, in a sense, is almost about the same height as the infamous Terminator 2 CDS, Cinema Digital Sound Processor, which, when you look at it for a digital processor, is like, bloody hell, why has it got so many units to make up this processor, for crying out? Maybe because it's early days and the complexity that's gone into it and everything. Because that CDS thing could do quite a few other things except analog sound. So, anyone that had a problem, you would have to have two film prints, CDS and a Adobe A-type or SR soundtrack for backup, and already on the Cape player. So if something was completely fail with the processor or something, you get it laced up, get the show running again. With these things happen. Some parts of the scenes here on the laserdisc are not too bad. Some of the lighting, some of the lighting effects. Bear, my cat Bear's, I got him wound up. What are you doing, Magic? What are you doing? Yeah, well, not gonna miss that 4K. Believe me, not gonna miss it. I don't care how sharp it is. Oh, it's like they put lipstick. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. Bear, come on, Bear. Come on, boys.
What did he see? Anything goes wrong down here, they can say whatever they want happen. They're folks meddling. Here, Virgil, those seals and trees, something is going on. Everything is. Hurry up, name the flathead. I showed him I wanted to try to get out of here. Tell me you need to go down. Yeah, he didn't pay him. Except your boys went sightseeing the flatbed. My people need flatbed to get on hook at their end. Back in 2 hours. 2 hours? We're going to get a ship in 2 hours.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh. Yeah, well, James Cameron's not improved my health for today. Screw you, James Cameron. I've got heart issues and he's not made me a happy bunny today. Screw you, James Cameron. I mean, I think with the way the abyss here looks on this, it looks like it's got grain, but it just looks that way. But in any case, it's Super 35, so what? I mean, even James Cameron's too damn lazy to bloody use anamorphic lenses. Just like a load of other directors. You can't be asked, can they? You can always tell signs that if a film that you go in, you've never seen it before, and you've gone in just, you know, gone in the cinema, and there's usually little telltale signs that you can think, oh yeah, it's a Super 35. Oh, it's anamorphic. Despite whether the screen might be opened up for scope. When light or the camera's at a certain angle and light comes at gives a circle. If it gives a circle effect, it's a Super 35. If it's kind of oval shaped, kind of like an egg shape, then it's anamorphic lenses. There's always little telltale signs that you can spot. It's interesting what crap they're playing down at the Odeon BH2. Oh, I mean, if they just probably tune the mid and high range, maybe go over it a little bit better with EQ tuning and such, level and EQ tuning. And if that seems to fail, then put some bloody goddamn audio limiting on it, for Christ's sake. Otherwise, it's not too bad. But when it's over loud and overbearing, and it's like they're trying to make out this iSense atmos, lifelike, it's such bullshit, very bad bullshit marketing. And I end up having to put earplugs in. So I'm sick and tired of bringing my hands up like this and doing that every now and then. So my hands are raised up there and they get a bit exhausted. I've got to put my earplugs in, for Christ's sake. Because the mid, when it's too high in the mid, on those mid ranges, on a freeway, so you got the base cab, and you got the mid range, and then you got the high range. It may not be as bad on the high range if the mid range were turned off, muted in projection, and then a trained ear like myself listening, and then think, yeah, I know it's the top end, and then boom, that mid range goes back on, and I think, fuck, I'm not really distinguishing too much with the very top end. It's like audio masking, something going on there, There's no bloody real fidelity with the bloody sound system they got downtown with their Atmos in screen number 10. There's no fucking fidelity with it. It's just noise. And Dolby Labs have gone and down there, or Dolby Engineer, so it's up to spec. Bullshit. I bet when you look at the mix levels, you're going to find that the screen channels are bloody up here, and some of those other channels are way down at this bloody level. Crying out loud! Cinema is not worth going to anymore. So I doubt they do sound rehearsals downtown. They just get a film print in, load it up on the bloody digital cinema package thing, and then just bloody play the thing at deafening levels, whether it's in screen 10 or screen 9. Crikey. It's like they can't think for themselves. They got to follow everything by the bloody book, like most home theatres. Most home theatres probably follow it by the book, thinking, oh, it's Dolby standards. Yeah, but can your home theatre do all the sound formats? No. Especially with the equipment now. It can't do all those sound formats, and you think it would. Crying out loud, just abysses. I think after today, I'm not going to probably play this film for a while, because It's just something that, you know, over the years I only played often. Very little, very little. Very little. There was quite a bit of video noise in there with that. I can see there. Oh, a bit too much contrast there, I think. So this version is going to be near close to what I would have heard optical soundtrack. Oh. If I want the overhead, turn off the go to the switcher box and switch it over to channel B. So it's still on channel A because it's using the sides so I can switch it over and have the sides and the overhead. But they're going to be a little bit louder because I've got to readjust. I've got to rebalance the levels. Yeah, I can hear it coming on a little bit. I've got to readjust the levels a little bit. It's very tricky. Plus, just turn it down on there a little bit. Turn it down on there a little bit. Fade it down a bit. Just fade it down there a little bit. Wow, the abyss. So I've got to ask you, James Cameron, where's the theatrical mix abyss, James Cameron? Oh, well, we wanted to do a soundbar version. Well, that sucks. Do you see a soundbar in my home cinema, James Cameron? The only thing that guy really ultimately cares about is the ocean and his deep sea diving explorations. So fucking hell, we just paid for his next bloody expedition, or maybe bought him another diving watch that he can go and buy. I like to have a watch myself, but really don't care for watches now. I think watches are really snobby for rich people, really snobby sort of things. I just can't stand them. I wanted to get many years. I wanted to get an Amiga Seamaster, the ones that they had for the Apollo mission things. And some of the prices I think I were looking at years ago. This is years ago. Some of them were around about £800, £900. Right now, just so you can tell the time, for Christ's sake. I might as well get some sellotape and then fucking put that on my wrist. And then, oh yeah, time is 16:05 hours. Okay. Oh, yeah, there's my fucking watch. Sakes. I wonder what watches they're using in the Abyss here. I just noticed. Sometimes you don't notice it, but sometimes you do. I'm trying to use the bloody Panasonic. I'm looking at the watch, roughly what I can see. It's a bit difficult. Where is it? The watch he's wearing, this catfish guy. Yeah, I can just briefly see. That. Yeah, I can roughly see the size of it. And then the watch that the Brigman character is wearing. Where is it? Can't see it there. Oh yeah, I can see it more or less. The straps on the watches look almost the same size. The watch straps look almost the same size, but it's very difficult because they're moving around all the time, so it's very difficult to get a. Oh yeah, there was a bit there where I can just see the watch. I can just about see the watch. It's probably not an Amiga. It's probably something else. Probably a Seiko. Probably a Rolex. Probably it's just something that tells the time, Oh, that's another thing. Did he go down into the abyss when he went into the abyss with his watch? If he did, would it would have withstand the pressure? Or would the casing on it break the glass because of the pressure? Yeah, some food for thought. On the other side. Oh yeah. I wasn't going to waste that 4K watching it on the bloody video projector. So I wasn't going to waste laser time on that 4K piece of rubbish. I mean, if a film's filmed totally digital, sure, fine, okay. But when it's filmed 35 and it's on grain and shit and all that, trying to make it look like it's digital sort of thing, oh, really? Oh, abomination. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell whether he's got that watch on because he's in this diving gear. But I assume he's probably got the watch. He's still wearing the watch. Oh, that'd be near. No, because he takes the suit off. No, he takes the helmet off. That's it. But he's still wearing the suit at the end of the film. Yeah, so it's not like, yeah. he got out. It's not like he got out of the seat, so I assume he's wearing that watch still. Or is he? Hang on. What's that there? I see. Hang on. Or is he? Hang on. Is that? No, is that the watch he's got there? Or no? No, it's something else, I think. Hang on. Because it's on his it's on his left. Oh no, that's just the strap that goes around the hand, around the gloves and everything. Oh, I thought it was his watch. You know, like the astronauts, they put their watches on the outside of their suit. And also, I don't like the bloody artwork on some of those bloody on the discs, because it makes it look like a bloody astronaut. You know. But then he was a fictitious one with the Mercury mission, the right stuff, and a flight director, and then another flight director again in bloody what's it? Gravity. You only hear his voice panning around, which I think is by far his best performance ever. He's moving around. Yeah, not many chapters on side 3. Not many chapters. And though it's got a different artifact on this, it's not as annoying as the DVD with that, because I don't know, it looks really weird. I don't know how that artifact managed to slip in and you know, be supervised by someone, and then thinking, you know, we shouldn't be letting this happen, because now we're going to offer this bloody and make mass bloody production copies of it, and they're going to go out on the shelves, and people are going to pick up on like, whoa, that looks a bit weird. Shouldn't look like that. So that Dolby Stereo thing there looks okay, not too bad. Oh, that bass drop. Wow, like bass drop. I don't like lossless atmos crap where it sounds watered down for a fucking soundbar. Oh. You might as well actually play that bloody thing on a soundbar, not any home theatre speakers, because really. Whoa. Yeah, and I need to get some black. I've got some black cloth I'm gonna put over that window thing there, but then I can't keep the I've got to move the bloody extractor fan, the extractor, the vent tube. Otherwise, light's going to come through it. It actually looks pretty effective. need to shorten those on that video projector. Needs to shorten it down, adjust it a little bit. Needs adjusting a little bit, that does up there. That's way too small. That's way too. Look at the size of that. It's bloody tiny. That's bloody tiny, that. But it looks very weird looking at the way it's moving, the motion of it, because it's so small. Yeah, I'll keep it there. Keep it there. So it's going a little bit too high up on that because I've got a bloody shadow because I've got those bloody overheads too fucking high. I should have, it's it's bloody awkward. If the ceiling were a little bit higher up, it wouldn't be a problem. But then again, I could lower the screen down. I could lower, but then I can't really do that because then the OLED's going to be in the way, and the OLED mostly used for a fixed screen. Otherwise, it's tricky, but I don't fucking care. I don't care. Just give me theatrical mixes. Wow. Dolby stereo. Wow. 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 Wow, that's so cool on the end of that Fox thing there. And the violin playing there nicely. So sweet up on the bloody JBL, up on the because it kind of goes a little bit middle in the center of the violin. Oh, just like a fucking flashback. You ain't gonna get that on bloody 4K, I can promise you. Okay,
this is so your eyes can focus on the breathing fluid. How's that feel?
How's that feel? How's that feel? How's that feel?
How's that feel?
How's that feel?
How's that feel? How's that feel? There. How's that feel? There it is. That feel? There it is. If you can't see, you can't disarm the bomb, right? That feel? There it is. If you can't see,
If you can't see, yeah, you can't see the 4K. You can't disarm the 4K. Oh dear. Sorry, but I got my little violin here playing a sad Crimea River for you lot that have all been whining and bitching and moaning for the 4K. Like, oh gosh, I bet you're going to go out and celebrate tonight and take your 4K disc with you to a restaurant and celebrate. Not. It's breaking news time. It's not good. It looks bad. And James Cameron calls himself a filmmaker. I think he's had one too many deep sea dives, and I think he's got the high pressure nervous syndrome. Yeah, has he been for recent decompression to make sure he's okay? Because all he cares about is those bloody Smurfs and fucking. Well, at least we didn't see any blue Smurfs CGI'd into it. Otherwise, can you imagine the uproar? Oh look, there's a bloody Smurf moving around in the water. Yeah. Put it in the blender. Oh, I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to crack that disc in half. Though you shouldn't really crack a disc in half. You got to wrap it. You got to put a towel around it or something, and then snap it. Don't ever take a compact disc or anything and snap it like in front of you. Not without wearing a face guard, but wrap it up and then snap it. Otherwise, you get any splinters of that would come flying off that hit you in the eye, and then you're going to feel pretty stupid, aren't you? So, yeah, because I must say those bloody blue 4K discs, they're bloody tough to bloody break in half. Oh, I don't know what recyclable plastics they're using, but a laser disc will break easy because of the way it's designed and the weight of it. But even if you take a 4K disc, because it's the same as a blue, it's just a slight difference in the the nanometers of the plastic. And you take it onto a hard surface like kitchen counter and go bang on the side, it'll probably break. It'll probably put a crack in the disc, and that's it. But then all you have to do is just hold that disc and then just bend it slightly, and that disc is completely fucked. Because what are you going to do? Let's try the experiment. Because I was looking at my laser discs last night, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to make some modifications with the way the laser discs are, because they shouldn't be diagonal on this shelf. And they should be more like vertical, totally vertical. Because if they even got pressure, otherwise, I took a disc out. I thought, oh, I bet that disc is slightly warped. That's okay because I can fix it. Because all I have to do is put some weight on top of it and leave it there for a couple of days, and that laser disc will play fine. But you get these crappy 4K discs and shit, and oh crikey. I thought laser rot was a bad thing, but I don't like seeing when it goes all pixely and everything, because that disc there then is completely knackered. A little bit of laser rot on a laser, it can still play. It just depends on the degree of the laser rot. Laser rot on HDVD, Warner Brother, forget about it. You get teased. You get teased because you think, oh, the main menu, it works. And once it goes into about a few minutes into the actual content itself, then it starts, you see a pause, and then it plays, then that disc is completely knackered, and then you start seeing pixelation and all green and blue and red noise all over the bloody image. Oh, What, laserdisc? Oh no. Depending on the degree of the laser rot. You get two different types of noise artifact with analog and PCM sound. If it's very severe laser rot, you'll get little spike sounds now and then on the PCM on the digital track, kind of like sort of things. On the analog, oh my, because it's like an FM signal sort of thing. It'll be like that. And you can hear the kind of like it oscillating, or sort of like because of the rotation of the disc, and it's going doing that rather than like that. You know, if it was in digital domain, it would be, you know. And there's one film I got that's just totally unwatchable. I think it's one of those conspiracy theory movies. What's it called? Flashpoint, with that guy from RoboCop and that guy from Convoy, Brother Duck. Not a bad film, not a bad transfer visually, video wise. Not a bad video transfer. I've seen a lot worse, and I thought, wow, that's pretty good, because I was thinking it was going to look very ultra smeary. But I thought, wow, that's not too bad. That's not a bad PAL transfer. It's a PAL laser disc, but just analog audio. But it's got a bit of laser rot. Oh, of course, got a few other ones, but my Willow is not badly laser rotted. Thank goodness. I put Willow on, bloody hell. Compare that to the bloody Blu-ray and the DVDs. Oh, for God's sakes. Those are just near-field mixers. That's a mix for a soundbar, and it's easy. You know, you take a theatrical mix and play it on theatrical JBL speakers, and then play it on smaller bookshelf hi-fi speakers, and you can tell by the difference in the sound. You know, you got all the you can have the pink noise and all that, and the calibration all set up, and double check it with the amplifier using the same amplifiers, and making sure it's got the same voltage and such. And you know, you can tell it sounds small in size in on a small speaker. And then you go to a sound bar and then listen how pathetic it's going to sound on one of those. If anyone wants to go out and waste their money on a soundbar, it's a free world, almost. Go and waste your hard-earned on a soundbar. I don't care. You think because it's got Dolby Atmos on it, wow, you must be in a. That's like rushing out looking for a fucking prostitute and want to stick your dick in something in a hurry. Keep saving up and then keep looking around on freaking eBay and buy some JBL X Professional Cinema used speakers. You wouldn't look back on anything else, believe me. You found your holy grail. Of course, the holy grail is the 4675A. Most people have got one. Most people, if they have any of those in the home, and you would know they've heard them in the cinema, regular cinema, THX cinemas. They know the potential of it. Most people just want to buy things just for the sake of it. Just like I bought that crappy 4K. I knew it was going to be a disappointment. I knew it. Other people were probably having a little bit, maybe a positive, you know, thinking positive. And it's going to be, but most people probably haven't seen it in donkey years and think it looked great. God. Yeah. The picture's a little bit of a minus on the laserdisc, a little bit minus on the DVD, but bloody hell, all I can say is the sound is a little bit better on, way better on the DVD and way better on the laserdisc. Oh dear. I don't use a height virtualizer. I don't use it, and I have no idea what it is. It sounds like a virtualizer that's on. I think one of the Pioneer Laserdisc players is a Dolby virtualizer on one of the Pioneer Laserdisc players, but frankly, I don't use it. I got no need. I got no use to no need to use it when I got proper Dolby stereo. Otherwise, it's just going to add some sort of trickery in signal vector steering or some sort of polarity sort of thing, where you can just do that generally. I could mess around with a Behringer DCX and maybe plug in a Behringer DEQ with its stereo expander thing, where you can make the sound go wide and narrow, kind of like that front wide sort of that stereo whip thing on the bloody AV receiver things. There isn't anything like that on the Storm Audio except for the Denon, but I can pretty much tell what it is. It's just taking the signal and just widening it out and basically creating a phantom sound signal. But my system can do a little bit more. Can't do it on a Trinnov or any other AVR or any other. Basically, it's a wiring technique. So when you just got two speakers and you got everything else set up for the surrounds and everything, and you haven't got a center channel, okay, and you got the here, using the what's it? I think that's a cool effect. That I'll just put it on pause. It's got the what's it? Phosphorus thing, you know. The what's it? You can't tell which bloody color the bloody wires are now. Okay, so you got left and right. So you can still send, but you've got to get another piece of equipment to add on, you know, and then you can send the center signal out into separate amplifiers, into some other, you know. Basically, I can adjust the center channel level on the left and right speaker up and down, or I can adjust the level on the left and right or the center, you know, either way. You can't have that luxury. You can't have that flexibility if you just got two speakers. You can only turn the level up and down, and it does that for the, you know, the center signal as well, which is phantom imaging on the left and right. But I did it on my system, but unintentional. I didn't intend to design it into the system, and it's on here on this part of the Dolby DSU4s. When I go into that mode there setting where the lights are there, it's basically left channel is on one decoder, right channel is on the other decoder, plus there's center going into the first one and then into the second one. And then all I have to do is go on to the settings on the receiver or the Storm or whatever, and I can adjust the center channel, and then it will phantom image and it will go up, or I can decrease it, or I can mute it. Or I can mute the other channels, the left and right. You can't do that on any other receiver. It's just not possible. You got to do the special wiring or have some other equipment in the rack. So I'll just go from there. put it back on regular LCR. And then when it's on that mode, and that's on 5-screen matrix, that's additional 5-screen matrix. I was using that Abyss on that 4K. I was using the 5-screen. Seemed to have something there, but yeah, it's a load of rubbish. It's a bloody near field. Really can't stand near field. It gives a bad image to the film industry. I think needs to stop. Needs to bloody stop. It does. I thought they passed a bill, the Congress, they passed a bill with the FFC or something, because the loud TV commercials going bloody excessively loud, and people getting fed up, turning the volume. That's not a big deal. Crikey. I'm only arm's reach of the fader, and all I know when, if it was TV back in the day, I instinctively knew when there was going to be an advert coming up, and I would stand by, because it seemed like 30 minutes had just played, and it seems like I can tell the scene in the movie, and I think, yeah, TV ad is going to come up, and it's going to be, it's going to go from this quiet, soft scene in the dialogue passage, and then suddenly it's going to go way up with bloody plastering, bloody advertisement down your ear canal. I tell you, want fucking plastering? Go to the fucking BH2 downtown. They'll be pouring it like fucking concrete down your ear canal. Is it necessary to have it fucking loud? Oh. Plus the way they do advertisements now and trailers on fucking I don't know about Cineworld. I don't know what their policy is, because I've never been to a Cineworld, so I have no experience. When I was with UCI cinemas, you do you got slide projector, you got your non-sync music playing. That's before you start the show up with trailer advertisements, and then you go then into trailers. Some of them might be widescreen, some of them might be scope, those trailers, and you still got to do all the freaking lens changeover and muting sound and everything. You still got to perform all those commands within just a few seconds. Oh dear, I should calm down, because I got heart issues. I got on my medication. I got heart issues. My heart chamber is pumping at a different rate of speed. It's not going correct. I should calm down. And then after that, you go into the Dolby trailer, and that's it. Main feature, BBFC, sharpen the focus and that, and wait for the film to actually film itself to go into the film gate, and then sharpen a little bit more, make sure it's manually focused, sharpened. And then watch a couple of minutes of the opening titles, and then once you're satisfied, you walk away from the projector. But anything could go wrong. Film could break. The film could snap. The film could get jammed in the film gate. The xenon lamp could explode. There could be a brain wrap. Sound system could go wrong. Anything. But once you think that's done, that's satisfactory, then go and relax. But fucking hell, Odeon. After they finish trailers, right, they go into the Dolby trailer, okay? Whether it's an Atmos trailer in screen number 10, or if it's in one of the smaller other size screens, which is about medium size, I think it was, screen number 9, goes into the Dolby 7.1 trailer, because they probably got CP 750s in all the other auditoriums and 850 in screen 10. So right after the fucking trailer, guess what? More fucking advertisement. And I kid you not, the sound level, because I can hear it on the fader because it's automatic. because there's no one there adjusting it. It's done automatically. Oh, for God's sakes! So the trailers were about this level, sort of advertisement and trailers about that level, sort of thing. Which I thought, yeah, that's about calm. But Screen 10, every time I've seen something there, I can tell the trailers have gone up a bit. They bumped it up a little bit more on the fader, for Christ's sake. And it's just fucking off-putting. Anyway, when it went from in Screen 9 from the trailers, because I've got it in a video, because I can even hear in the video. No, it's only recorded on a mono microphone. That's good enough for me, because I can still hear the level of the bloody fader changing. That fucking Dolby 7.1 trailer was so fucking loud. Probably not the loudest. Probably the Dolby Canyon trailer on the where it's going doo 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 woo da da boom. That is a fucking loud. That is a effing loud trailer compared to Dolby Neon City. It's a little bit lower level, still loud, but what you got to play that at a lower fader level, because it doesn't set the tone right for the bloody film to start playing. You got to build up atmosphere in the correct way, you know. Anyway, yeah. So right after that, the trailer. Not the trailer, the fucking advertisement, still at the same fader level, hasn't come down automatically. Like, oh. And then you get the BBFC thing. That's totally the wrong order to do it. Don't go to Odeon cinemas. They suck. I don't know about Cineworld, if Cineworld are doing the same bullshit. But frankly, I don't go cinemas anymore. Cinemas won't be around long. They're soon going to go into the history books. Because the more public want to watch stream or in the luxury comfort of their home, cinemas won't survive. They'll just frizzle out because they're not selling seats. They're not doing any turnover. Not that home cinema does. Home cinema doesn't make a profit, a single profit. The only profit that goes out is to streaming services. And you're still buying a bloody near-field mix, when you're streaming. Kaleidoscape, rip off. You're just getting a near-field mix. Lossless audio. If you want lossless, get a bloody laserdisc player, for Christ's sake. And then you can compare the dynamics. But don't take my word. Anyway, you wouldn't know what suffering is. I've been suffering last few months with heart failure issues, and you wouldn't know what suffering is. So don't bitch and moan like, oh, Laserdisc is SD. It looks like, if you want to watch Pig's Lipstick on 4K, be my guest, because I don't really care for it that much. I don't really care for it. It's the studios that are jerking it around, and they'll just continue doing it. Otherwise, if 1 million letters were sent to Congress saying, we're getting really pissed off as a paying for these things, we're getting really pissed off. It's got to stop. And Congress are the only ones that got power. You can write all the letters you want to the film studios. Oh, they'll probably do another transfer, or No, you got to have something to lean on them with pressure that will forbid them for doing this and this and that. And if they did that, they'll get fined for doing that. Otherwise, they're not getting fined. I think for every bloody title that we own, whether it's VHS, Laserdisc, we've already bought it. I think we should get that title for free and get that title in picture, aspect ratio, color, and all that. And sound theatrical mix 1-to-1. Not have the number 1 here and then have these other numbers down here, decimal 0, but have them fudged around. No, those numbers should be 1-to-1, spot on. And there will be absolute guarantee, no need to release that title again for at least until they change the format itself, because it'll be perfect. The titles that go out to cinemas are kind of perfect. Think about that. Think about that. If they were looking crap, people would say, fuck hell, what the bloody hell are you doing? We're not coming back. Period. Until they pull their socks up. The film has already made its money back, or it's failed and flopped. They don't care about home releases or what they are, If they want to manipulate and fuck it up, then great. But it doesn't have to be. It can be spot on. But I think it's absolutely amusing what Thomas and Holman told me, what he saw with James Cameron doing True Lies years ago, tinkering around with bloody edge enhancement for the True Lies. Oh, God. And he was shocked at what he saw. And he's Mr. THX himself, and he was shocked. I think you get these video devices, and they just get a little bit misused and misunderstood. And I wouldn't mind something that an anti-edge enhancement remover. So to remove edge enhancement, can someone make something like that can remove it? Because I see a little bit of edge enhancement on this transfer of the Abyss on Laserdisc. I can see a little bit of edge enhancement on it. Yeah, it's pleasing sometimes that I buy some Laserdiscs and I look at it and think, oh wow, there's no edge enhancement on this one. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, you get a DVD or a Blu-ray and it's like, what the bloody hell has it got edge enhancement on it for a high definition format, for crying out loud? We've gotten, video engineers have got past all that sort of, Is it some sort of anti-piracy sort of thing, so that they could tell, oh yeah, it's that version there. It's because it's got all the but everyone's been on Blu-ray comms saying, is this a 2K scan or a 4K scan? Because the framing looks exactly the same. It's not like they changed it slightly like he would or could do because it's Super 35. It's exactly the same, and it's just like, it's like any one of us adjusting the color slightly, on something, I think I need to take the color down actually a little bit on this one, because people were starting to look a little bit like sea lobster boiling in a fucking pot. Maybe I've got too much saturation on the. Maybe. I've got to use the fucking Denon, for the video color mode, for some basic color. There's hardly any of that on the bloody Storm Audio. That takes the piss, that does. It really does take the a piss, get it? The a piss. It really does. Maybe I just got the saturation up a little bit. No, doesn't seem to be. All right, so I'll just leave it fucking there. Just go into the generally the God, when are they going to make a bloody projector or something where you say automate or color, bring up the color mode? Oh, that's okay. So I just where is it? Oh yeah, down there. It's not shut down a bit. Yeah. I've taken it down quite a bit. It's still got that sort of colorish to the image, but yeah. All right. They look like delight lobsters boiling in a pot now, so not overcooked. Not overcooked. Oh yeah, end credits. I like fucking end credits. It is on the sound bars. It is on the sound bars. What do you mean it is on the sound bars? The sound bars. It sounds like a chocolate sweet that you want to eat, doesn't it? You want to pour some custard on it and eat it. Munch on it. I've not seen one bloody YouTube video where someone's done a very thorough testing on a soundbar. Not one single video. Unless I'm using the wrong keywords, and I'm talking thorough. I'm talking about opening it up, checking it out, what the components are, and doing thorough testing on those. Especially when some of them cost how much? Yeah, you could buy a soundbar, okay, that's going to cost more than my JBL professional cinema speakers behind my screen. I got them ultra cheap, just at the right time. Just watching eBay patiently. Not every single day. Some days, take a break. And then suddenly I saw, oh my goodness, wow, you got to be kidding. I think the price must be wrong there. No, mate, no, don't say a word. No, the seller's got the prices right. Yeah, he says he's got the prices right. Oh well, I'm buying that because that's like going to a luxury fish and chip restaurant here in Bournemouth called Ches Fred, which was voted best fish and chips 3 times in a row through the 90s and early 2000s, I think. And there's some other fish and chip restaurant now. It probably says, superseded, whatever. But fish and chips, my goodness. Of course, I had to get the other components to go in for the JBL, the bass bins, but the bass cabs, oh my god, I couldn't believe how cheap the bass cabs were. If I had to make them with a friend, so make it with a friend and make carbon copy versions, it would have cost more. I got them; they were ridiculously cheap. Ridiculously. Of course, the bass drivers, they weren't too expensive, and then the compression driver and horn were pretty cheap. In fact, my 5-screen behind there is cheaper than the M&K speaker, which is called the 150, I think. You look how much that bloody thing is. Pathetic bloody little speaker. It's tiny. I think it's if not, I think my JBL Control 5 might make it look shameless. get what you pay for. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I don't have a 5603, a 56563. The only Dolby Cinema processors I got is a CP. If you want them in year order, CP55, CP65, CP500, CP45, CP200. Well, I missed out the CP200, didn't I? CP55, no, actually, the CP200 comes first. Yeah, CP200, CP55, CP65, CP500, CP45, CP75. I've looked at a CP850, but that could be a, you gotta get all the information from the seller. Otherwise, you could get into yourself a very problematic issue. Because if it's all unlocked and everything, that means you don't need any digital key to, play Dolby Atmos on it, because it will play Dolby Atmos. But if you want to render, or basically expanding the channels, because as it is, it's 16 channels basic on a CP 850, and you got a few things to plug in, the portal connectors, and you've got to make a kind of loop effect where it's going out from one thing and plugging in and coming back in, and you've got to do a looping sort of thing. And so if you get a renderer or an channel expander, it'll expand the channels up to something 30 plus. And then if you add another one on and then do a bit more programming, then you'll expand it up to about 64 channels. But still, my CB radio would do 360. That's basically it. But you got to make sure, you got to check. Otherwise, you could end up getting something, and then you're going to have to call Dolby Labs, and then Dolby Labs are going to get very queer with you. Okay, I don't mean like gay queer. They're going to get queer like in funny, thinking, why you got that? And they're going to ask too many fucking questions. And I find that to be a little intimidating. It's like, you bought it, it's yours. It's X used, it's, but it's not. I've seen CP850s go as cheap as £1,500. That's cheaper than most of these little 16-channel home theater processor things that I've seen that have only got a basic 13 or maybe 14 or 16 channel, I think. But they don't include the left center, right center. They can't do it. They can't do left center, right center channel. Yeah, but that was a few years ago. There were two of them. I could have bought them. I could have bought those because they would have been completely unlocked. There'll be what you call a core version. So yeah. And I've seen the expander modules. I've seen those selling on eBay cheap. But that process has been around for 10 years now, so it's not a big deal. Go back quite a few decades when eBay didn't exist. You wouldn't see these items listed on eBay. You'd be looking through the free ads in the paper. And I think it would be very unlikely you would see anything like that in a free ads. Otherwise, I think the prices are starting to slightly come down. I think their 950 is a little bit, maybe a bit cheaper than the 850. But it took me about a couple of days or so to get used to a 750 because of the weird display it's got. But after a while, I kind of saw the logic on the display. I kind of saw a logic to it, like a circle. Though rooms, people like to put speakers in the same diagram as what they see on the on-screen graphic with the speakers laid out in the room. That's not how they should be. The speakers should be behind the projection screen. And there's people that fear having speakers, but thinking you're going to miss out all the high frequency and all that. Oh God, what a load of bullshit! And the dispersion and all this, and you just got to work it out. That's all. It's very awkward to work out, but that's the science. That's the science of it. And interesting, different types of screen or fabrics. Which ones are good and which ones are not so good. I don't mind the type of screen that I got, and it was ultra cheap for a fixed screen, transparent. I certainly wouldn't get a Stuart screen at that price, not at that size. It'd be at least £1,000. Ridiculous, daylight robbery. But I was opting to go with a spandex, but then you got to make sure you get that material really straightened out. So, otherwise, it would give a good transparency result on high frequency. There shouldn't be too much interference, but either way, when you got something in front of a speaker and it's just like doing this effect. Down. Yeah, that whooshy effect. It's because I move my hand really fast. Even if I'm talking and talking like that, I can hear my voice kind of oscillating. It makes an oscillation sound. That's because there's something going near to it and then pulling away from it. It's just like with a microphone. You got a microphone and you put your hand about 1 meter away slightly in where it's picking up, say, the center channel or whatever speaker, it's picking up sound, and you put your hand slightly, it'll interfere with the frequency response. You got to be absolutely still. You got to remain absolutely still when you're doing. You can't move and shiver, move around in your seat and shit. In fact, you shouldn't be in the room at all. When you're doing all those frequency sweeps, you shouldn't be sat in any of the seats at all. You should be out of the room. That's usually how it's been done in cinemas. It's all done in projection. But yeah, problem there I see. There is a problem there. But there's something I've thought about trying. Anyway, because you're just looking at the Gold Mire or Gold Star or whatever it is. I can't remember the actual name of the damn thing. It's about that size, a big box. It's got red LEDs on it, and you've got an X curve on it. And then you just put the pink noise out, and then you just get these LEDs to be within this sort of parameter sort of thing. But it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more precise. And people send pink noise around the room, a little bit of pink noise there, adjust the level, then adjust it on the, when you're doing your, what is it called? The rack. I hear the same thing in my room. I hear the same in everyone else's room, and I can hear how poorly that speaker over there sounds. And then when it goes over to that speaker there, I can, and then that one, I can hear the characteristic in that pink noise, and thinking, crikey, that person's got more on their plate than they think, because you got to get the tone of that to sound the same. That's the trick. And it does, and believe me, it will take you days to get it right. Not a few hours. And you got to do it, you got to do it in pink noise time. You can't do it in frequency sweep. Otherwise, you move that microphone a little bit this way, that way. You might as well throw that frequency graph thing out the window. You got to do it in real time. And while you're doing it, moving the microphone slightly, because the microphone might be in the actually a wrong position. In fact, most people probably don't even think, if I had a garden myself, I'll take the fucking loudspeakers outside and test them outside. Each and every damn speaker, test each tweeter, mid-range, bass driver, blah blah blah, and then I'll do the crossover and everything. I'll do that indoors, but test everything outside, because then it's got less reflection from the sidewalls and the ceiling, and put the speakers in a specific position. So when the pink noise goes on there, and then you do the frequency sweep, and then you got to make sure every loudspeaker goes in the exact same position for the stage channels. And then when you got the surrounds, the speakers for the surrounds, make sure that they go in the exact same fixed position and do the frequency sweep, and then compare the overlays, and then see what's going on. And then think, and then of course, if you put some obstacles around those speakers, do another part of a test, purposely put some obstacles around those speakers, and then you observe the frequency response again. It's changed, hasn't it? Because it's like putting your hands around your mouth. You make sounds, and it just changes. Or you put it near your ears and bring it in slightly, and then the way I could bring my hand up very near to my ear, and I sense a slight pressure. It's not touching my ear, it's just near, and I can sense a slight pressure. Do that with a microphone with a bit of thorough patience of testing, and you'll probably see the similar effect. Maybe. But microphone is not like our ears, because it doesn't have hairs. It's not doesn't have a fluid in it, and we might get tinnitus. A microphone might get beat defects and certain artifacts and noise and blah blah blah. Black sheep. I'm getting really into this laserdisc. And also, the other thing about the Abyss 4K, there's so many vultures on eBay. There's so many vultures around that I don't know where they're getting the item from, and then they got the audacity to charging nearly $100. Bloody cheek. Because this title is so, I think, overhyped now, and I think the hype now needs to come down, because other people have said the picture is really kind of crap in a way. It's AI technology, it's digital noise reduction. That doesn't sound good by the sounds of it for the picture of quality. and it's a bloody near field mix. So it doesn't retain the dynamics as what it should. And the Atmos mix on it is very cheap, because sometimes I hear the same music sound that's in the regular channels being used in the overhead, and rather than just going into the stem tracks or take out a certain musical specific element, because I've heard that in mixes where they've done for Atmos and purpose and mixed brand new specific, and I can hear the individual and when blending very carefully the sound levels and frequency, and blending that with the other channel, it sounds very musical, sort of thing. But when it's just the same music soundtrack playing on, I think that doesn't work. It's just a gimmick, cheap bloody gimmick, just so they can brand, get the what's it, and scorch the bloody cow. Atmos. There will be moos, and people will buy it. Fucking hell, if they branded Atmos on beef burgers, people will buy it. And please, for the love, please, stop calling your speakers Atmos speakers, for crying out loud. They are not Atmos speakers. They are just a speaker. Can you buy DTSX speakers? No. Can you buy Oro speakers? No. Can you buy IMAX speakers? No. It's just a speaker, for Christ's sake. And to say, it's a THX speaker. No, it's gone for a rigid standard of torture audio testing to see how much it can handle before it cracks up. And, if it can pass all that without cracking up, it gets approved for being in, because God knows these new JBL speakers that they have in the cinema downtown, crying out loud. Is it necessary to play it at the freaking levels? I mean, less is more, less is more. Because I'm not even hearing the detail of the bloody sound. All I'm hearing is effing noise. I'm not sure if I'm hearing any dialogue panning. No, I don't think I heard any dialogue panning in Dune Part 2. Bloody boring. Bloody centre dialogue for bloody nearly 3 hours, for Christ's sake. It's supposed to be an epic. 165 minutes. What the fuck's it think it is? The Towering Inferno? That's about the same running time as the Towering Inferno. At least the Towering Inferno's got some directional dialogue on it. Oh, and a John Williams score. Oh. Yeah, even though Towering Inferno can be pretty loud on those fire trucks when they get the first call, first alarm, and they're going out on oh damn, they sound loud. I can make it a little bit less than, but it's got some bass there. I can feel, I can really give it a nice tune up or rehearse it, especially where it counts down, the clock is counting down. You got Paul, and then you got all the actors that are looking up, and then you got Steve McQueen. It's his last look, glancing up at the ceiling, because he's probably thinking, "Where? Now those water tanks, they're not directly right over my head, are they?" Because boom, and then the water tank falls on and kills him. That's a good tense bit of music, man. That the with the bass dun dun dun, and the clock tick, 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 tick. The explosion, and then the music score goes out, and then it's just sound effects. blasting away with water rushing around for the next bloody 3 minutes or so until it fades, and then the music score comes back in. Wow. I would like to have seen the Abyss at High Wycombe, but I didn't know High Wycombe existed. Kind of knew it existed because I only read about it, but never experienced it until 1990. But I'd like to have seen the Abyss there, because that would have been wow. One person that saw it there said it was great. You know, the bass is just literally pressing into your chest. Compared to other cinemas, you don't get that. REW sweeps, they're okay if you measure the speaker up close, but when you pull that microphone away from the speaker, it's meters away, and there's so many things that are going to interact with the microphone. There's so many things where that sound and frequencies that are going out at different angles, and they're going to impact on multitudes of things in a room, and then they're going to it's a tricky thing. You get a rough idea, but it's a little bit more than that. It's tricky. You want to be precise, because I was looking at a video today. I think I've looked at it before, really. I didn't entirely agree with the video. The Society Motion Picture Television Engineers, SEMTE, and they were going on about where speakers are located behind the screen, the frequency, and all this, blah, 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 blah. And after that, you get Q&A. You get people coming up asking a bit more additional questions, what may have not been asked in the presentation. Ideally, you got to get the speaker to sound the same. But a speaker behind the screen is not exactly going to sound the same as the speaker for the surround speaker, unless you're using the exact same speaker. I mean, look at the size of some of these auditoriums now. I don't know why they're still using smaller speakers, even though they changed this or they use this spec and that. But I mean, it's been that way for quite a while. And then there's IMAX, of course. IMAX, they just use the same speaker. But their surround coverage thing in there it sucks. IMAX surround as the channel, it sucks because they've only got two speakers mounted up in the corners at a high angle pointing down. So unless they play actual pink noise, or you can simulate that kind of effect with smaller speakers, making sure the speakers are all the same. And then, yeah, does anybody do that? You know, I thought there were IMAX fans around here. I thought there was IMAX fans. Don't you get some like a gooseneck, like it's a mount that goes on the ceiling with a gooseneck, and then you've got the speaker, and then you put them at an angle in the corners, so they're at about a 45-degree angle, something like that, aiming down. And you got your regular rubber speakers going around. So you want to do simulation. Okay, tonight we're going to be playing The Dream Is Alive or Hell Columbia or something, and you want to duplicate an IMAX effect. Don't forget the upper center channel. That's pretty easy to mimic that because all you need is a decoder on your left and right channel to take a phantom signal, and then put another speaker way above the center channel, and then you know, sometimes you get narration sounds, and that are weirdly mixed sometimes, and you might get something there, you know. So you could give it a kind of IMAX effect. A little bit better than that enhanced crap. Because that's like putting pig's lipstick, cow lipstick on a bloody arse of your. Oh, how many titles have they got? IMAX enhanced. About that many titles compared to everything else. It's just another dud format that we don't need. But of course they had to, because I think there was something there going on. Maybe the home cinema market, maybe people were looking at the statistics, the percentages on home cinema market, and sales were kind of, so they cooked up the IMAX thing, didn't they? Oh, maybe more people will buy it because there are IMAX fans out there. Think about that. And then it's been around for a few years now, and how much content has it got to show for it? Very little. Talk about getting a raw deal. And the only receivers that have a THX on it is an Onkyo or that other radio. I don't even know the name of it. Integrator or whatever the bloody hell it's called. You don't get anything like that, you know. THX, basically, they shot themselves in the foot 20 years ago. If I was to look around, how many cinemas that might still be like THX certified, THX approved, whatever, how many of them would be using the 3417, or how few would be using 1138, or maybe something else, maybe a DVX 9800, I think it is. God, dear, oh dear. James Cameron, please. This here, that bit there. Crying out loud, it is shocking with the edge enhancement. Positively shocking. But at least it's got a theatrical mix. I didn't give that 4K much testing, because the other thing I forgot to do was turn up the brightness, because if you turn the brightness up, sometimes you might see a telltale sign of that color banding noise coming in somewhere. So you got to turn it up, you know, and then you think, oh yeah, or there's something else there I can see that shouldn't be there, because this is a 4K. Best format disc ever. Otherwise, I'm seeing a mirage of bloody noise on the laserdisc, but I can deal with it. I can't deal with that 4K. It looks like a cheap prostitute done up in pig's lipstick. Sorry, but it looks shocking. It looks like Barbie. It's so fantastic. It's so plastic. You can wrap me up. Oh. I think they're going for like a sensor round effect here, aren't they?
Friends down.
going on?
One night, get to sonar. One night, get to sonar.
What the hell's going on?
One night, get to sonar. Sonar. Get to sonar.
Can't do that on 4K. Ugh. It's just not that quick with responding. I noticed there was a response time difference with DTS playing through the Storm audio when playing back an action scene. There is a slight fraction delay, whereas I noticed it's a little bit more quicker on my DTS CAD. On the DTS CAD, but sometimes if I do it a little bit too quick on that, then it triggers a fault LED that comes up, but doesn't interrupt the sound. Doesn't interrupt the sound. The sound doesn't go out. It's just a fault LED comes up because it's jogging back the scene quick. And the DTS signal is going on, off, comes back on really fast, really like that, where it needs to be. Like heat keeps me on the edge, keeps me sharp. But I did notice it's slightly fraction. And also the HDMI is a bit laggy on that Storm audio. Every time doing a playing back a chapter or something, the sound would cut out and then comes back on, and then cuts out, and then it comes back on and stays stable. It shouldn't do that. Doesn't do that on the CP. It doesn't do that on the 750 or the DDS. If I was running DTS on through there, it doesn't do that. But switching HDMI off on the Storm audio and then going over to PCM or optical, because I've got optical leads also connected, didn't seem to notice the artifact as much. Providing the signal's Dolby Digital 5.1 something, but if it was Atmos, it's got to go through the HDMI. Otherwise, if it could go through the optical, it would be okay, great. Because I could play a scene over and over again without the sound cutting out and then coming back on, then cutting out, and then comes back on again. I'm sure every Storm audio processor does that, or there's many other decoders that are probably doing that. That's just some of the things I noticed, but I've always, like I say, if you want to run pink noise, run frequency sweep, REW. I did a video last year. It took me nearly, I think I was almost 10 hours. No sleep. I had a little few sandwiches in between. Completely knackered after it. And I was testing through most small JBL speakers I had. I was checking very thoroughly, testing all the speaker components individually, and then testing electronically the passive crossovers. So basically the signal's connected onto the crossover passive, and then I've got a single output coming from the positive, and that goes to the THX monitor to the computer, and then I run a frequency sweep through all the passive crossovers. Well, I was shocked with what I saw. It was just like the line out of fucking Casablanca. I'm shocked, Rick. That gambling is going on. Some of the crossover things were slightly offset, they weren't overlaying transparently. And thinking, what the bloody hell's going? That's only down to probably the coil winding on some of the components, or maybe some of the capacitors. So you got to check all the components, because I tested how many JBL home THX. They were the HT1F speakers. They were the affordable brand that came out during the early 90s, along with B&W, Snell Audio, I think, Macintosh, and a few other brands as well. But I was pretty shocked that the crossover slopes weren't even on the passives, they weren't overlaying transparently and giving the strange anomaly in the frequency, as well as some of the tweeters were like, well, this tweet is like almost perfect smooth, and this one here is like going all over the bloody place. Crying out loud. And I'm thinking, which one's better? It's got to be this one here. It looks nice and smooth because the microphone was only just a few millimeters away from the driver. So it's measuring it, starting off at a frequency response a little bit below its normal operating range. So it won't do damage to the tweeter. It's got, because the microphone's so near, and if I put my ear close to it, it would bend my ears. It would bend my ear. But because the microphone's very near and it's picking up the frequency sweep very nicely, and probably at a very low voltage level. So I was pretty surprised to see the unevenness. And not only that, the cosmetic design of the speaker, because one was built and designed or something, or no, built in Mexico, and the other one was built in Denmark for the European market. And they got, as well as the ports themselves are slightly different. One is flared and one is not flared. Plus, I thought there was a slight fraction difference in the weight as well. Not that I weighed the speaker actually on the weighing scales, but picking one up and over the other one did seem a little bit heavier. Probably the type of density of the chipboard or something. Yeah. I mean, otherwise the designs are done in JBL and whatever, but I was shocked that the specs on it were like all over the bloody place. You imagine how many EQ filters you would need to fix the bloody thing that going all over because when you measure an amplifier, it's pretty much smooth. If you zoom in on it, on that graph, you'll see plus or minus, a little bit of fraction plus or minus. But it's so tiny. Maybe you got to use the rack to slightly correct that. Huh? Go through several stages like an Apollo space rocket. So you go through the first stage, the second stage, the third stage. And you go through to achieve orbit, to achieve EQ. I've said it before, I keep saying it again. Equalizing a speaker is just like using sandpaper. Though sandpaper is very cheap. A piece of wood, or you put some plaster on a body filler in that, and then use the sandpaper to smoothen all that roughness out. Just like the frequency response is all rough. It's all over the place. If you got amplifier power, that's great. But you got to be very careful about doing the bloody thing. Especially when you want to put a bit of EQ, excessive EQ in the bass because you think it's like you got a dip. Move the microphone around, and then that dip will go normal. Move the seating. It doesn't take much to move the seating, Don't keep following this bloody recommendation by bloody THX. The seating's got to be at this bloody position for this bloody viewing angle, for Christ's sake. When we look at real life, We always look around, don't we? If someone said, "Hey, you fucking twat," you're going to turn around and you're going to think, "You calling me a twat?" You see, you react to it. You turn and respond, react. But when we're just, even though I'm only about 9 foot away from the screen, I still look left to right sometimes because my eyes are focusing on something, and I move. And then if the sound is panning and moving, I follow it. If I go a little bit nearer to the screen, and there's a limit to how close you should go, but otherwise you got to readjust the level of the speakers. But there's a little thing there that will enhance how wide it will sound and be more engaging. Yeah. But if you got everything all set up and it's all spot on, and you go, you put a seat, or even if you're standing near the speaker, the projection screen, or speakers that are not in behind the projection screen, you're then going to be too close to the center. And I tell you, there's one movie that is so pain in the arse. It's such a pain. I think a pain in the arse on the sound mix. And that movie is, well, quite a few of them. That movie I'm talking about is the movie Heat. It's like, oh gosh, they got so many sound editors on it, so many sound re-recording mixers. So they're probably coming in on day shifts, night shifts, and God knows what. Because they've got about 8 or 9 bloody re-recording mixers on it, for crying out loud. But it sounds very weird on a scene in during where the Wayne Grove guy, the guy that hooks up with the rest of the crew in the truck, and he comes out of a washroom or something, a restroom, a bathroom. And problem there being is the sound of the atmospheric sound in the center. It sounds a little bit too loud. Plus, the door sound as he comes through, you see the door is over one side, and you would hear a typical cliche in mixing where the door sounds over one side to give it the believability of being there, sort of thing. Specifically at the angle, but we as humans would be seeing it from a slightly different angle in 3 dimension. Anyway, it's just too much this sort of sound in the center, but it's hardly on the left and right. And then the music score, as the door closes, and then the music score starts to come in on stage left, right. It's not in the center, and he just comes, "Hey, go, give me another refill." I think even when he moves, he's walking around to get a refill, and you hear some Spanish people over on the left stage channel talking a little bit, very faint sound. And also he's got a paper cup, and he kind of does that, and you hear a little dripping sound, like I think on stage left, like a little but you gotta have golden ears to bloody hear that, I tell you. Otherwise you're going to get too much of that, and I think, oh dear, is this mix just wrong? Because there's something about it just doesn't sound right. That atmospheric sound should be completely on the left, center, right, and in the surround. It should be completely to give you the illusion of being outside, as well as having traffic sound moving around, on one side of the surround speakers to give the illusion of traffic moving along, and then it's going up on the stage channels when then you can visually see it on screen. Oh dear. Yeah, very, very, there's a lot of sounds, other than besides the shootout, which I think is overrated. There's a lot of other sounds that, that you want to create a believability. But that's one scene that I have to always adjust. And I was going through a process the other day with trying to use the 5-screen effect on the Storm audio, using the DTSX left center, right center effect. The Auro 3D, forget about it. It sucks. The Dolby one is a little bit weak because its matrixing decoder is slightly different. And I thought the matrixing on the DTS one almost had a full bass range sound, whereas the DSU was bass filtering it. It's dropping the bass off a little bit too much. Plus, it had a few other artifacts. Oh dear. I was playing that scene, just that one scene where he comes out. I was playing that for probably 20 minutes. That's dedication. That's home cinema dedication. Because I'm trying to pursue to try and find a way to get it to be right. And if I can find a way, I'll probably say, hey, you need this, you need that. You've got to have these speakers set up in this way, and then it should sound okay. Otherwise, it's a very problematic mix. You got very extreme loud, bloody sounds sometimes on left and right. Even though in real life we hear things, but we don't question it. You don't get much chance to. You can't do anything. It happens in real time, in real life. It happens. You can't do anything about it. You can't alter it. Unless, of course, it's in a controlled conditions where you could say, oh, well, we're going to be repeating this thing over and over and over again, aren't we, more or less? Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can improve it. Which part? Which part am I listening to versus which part you're listening to? So you got to get both. You got to get both parties on the same frequency, on the same page. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. I don't know which movies are mixed best by a single solo mixer or a group, or is that group on the same page, on the same frequency? I mean, The Abyss, the sound mix on The Abyss is done pretty geniusly. But it could have had a little bit more in it. It could have had a little bit more. Could have had a little bit more. But it seems like they put quite a bit into it. Out of the nominees for that year, not that I care for Oscars anymore. I thought the Oscars last week were almost a laughable joke. Oppenheimer, really. Thank goodness it didn't. Thank goodness it didn't win Best Sound. Oh, because that was an atrocious sound mix. But 89, Lethal Weapon 2, sound editing, I think. Glory, best sound. Indiana Jones, sound editing. The Abyss, best sound. I think Lethal Weapon had two nominations, sound and editing and sound. But there were quite a few titles, all there, mostly that I saw at the cinema, except Glory. And when I heard that on VHS, I thought, wow. But, yeah. I think the Oscars were fixed last week. Give Nolan an award. Give him an award, and then he'll go quiet. I didn't even. It was so amusing because that show was almost almost plastered all over YouTube. And Disney and all that, they're trying desperately to take it all down. And when it got taken down, another one went straight back up, almost as if it were pre-planned. Everyone was anticipating what they would do, and they already had a backup and a backup and a backup and a backup. I practically almost saw a whole show. Of course, I had to go and watch other, and then I only wanted to watch the Academy Award up to the Best Sound Award, and then I'll just turn it off, because then I'm not interested in Best Director or Best Picture of the Year. I had no interest in it. I've had no interest in the Academy Awards for about probably 10 years. Too much grooming going on, I think. Do you know what I mean? I wonder if the Blu-ray forum does an award show on there, like and voted by the members. After all, they make these movies for the public, don't they? Or are they just making it for the rich and shameless in Hollywood? You can be a member, you could be a board, you can be an Academy member if you want. You just got to get the application, fill it in, and then they got to see whether or not you'll be vetted to be a member. They probably just want to check out to see if if you're into grooming and shit, and if you're into that sort of shit, they'll probably have you on there. Otherwise, myself, pass, not interested. Ricky Gravers, he's right, Otherwise, yeah, you could vote for a movie for every single month, and then have a final one at the end of the year. Because there's so many titles, so many titles that sometimes will never see the light of nomination. They just get, please consider, and it may not even get into nomination. So there are hundreds, thousands, if maybe thousands of titles, and only so many are selected. I'm surprised Barbie didn't have best sound mix, because I heard a portion of that in a little clip. I think it was on streaming, Amazon, I think it was, and I thought, am I hearing dialogue panning? Oh yeah, I'm hearing dialogue panning moving around. I'm surprised that, because I would have thought, well, that's way better than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's fucking dialogue in this bloody center channel for bloody 3 hours, for Christ's sake. Yeah, a few little sound effects on the left and right. Oh, wow, that's dull and boring. Atmospheric sound sounded boring. And the big kaboom, boring. Just the other typical Nolan rubbish. I bet most people have calmed down now playing Oppenheimer. They probably don't play it that much now, and you calm down. Oh, maybe you want to do Oppenheimer again and do Candle Blowout. Put some candles in front of the sub bass speaker, yeah, and get your candles to blow out. There you go. You can do some YouTube videos now. Oppenheimer candle blowout. I've already done a few myself, and I'm not interested in doing any more. I've got about probably about 8 videos with candle blowouts. It's not a big deal. All it is air coming out the port at a certain frequency, and it blows a certain air out through the port. It's not a big deal. Though sub-bass speakers are very inefficient and very inaccurate, because if you're going to do it like big sort of thing, to blow the candle out at say 1 meter distance, or like you measure 1 meter, 1 watt and all that, I don't think it's going to blow a candle out. You're going to need a little bit more watts, and it's got to be at a specific frequency where it builds up air and then it blows it out through the port at a certain time. Like I could get Back to the Future, where he blows the speaker up and get the candle to blow out. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Apollo 13, ignition sequence start, boosh, candle blows out. I tested it on 2 different little JBL SB5, 4645. Not a problem. Towering Inferno, when the clock's tick 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 tick, and then boom. But I had to specially tune all that, and that blows the candle out. And the SPL level is, well, and a real explosion would be bloody loud, and a different boomy, totally different sound entirely. What other ones? Interstellar, where he's got that music playing, and then the rocket engine, that blows the candle out. The Thing, the original Thing, where the base camp blows up, that blows the candle out. What other ones have I got? Can't think. Got a few other ones there. Not a big deal. But you're pushing your luck if you're trying to blow it out over a few meters. You're pushing your luck, because you'll do damage to the amplifier, and then you're going to wonder why so many people have knackered amplifiers on those, because you got no way of knowing how close that amplifier is close to clipping. You got no indication. Whereas, pro amplifiers, they got level indicators, and they've got a little thing that says red. And when it starts going there, that's bad. When you're in amber, you need to back it off, because you should still at least have some headroom. So you need the power, but you need the port design and everything. You got to design a special breed. Otherwise, you're only getting air coming out of a small port that's only a small diameter. And it's a bit more efficient for me to go, and that's going to take a few seconds until it reaches a flame. It's not going to put the flame out on a candle. It'll make that flame flicker. It's going to make it flutter. And that takes a few seconds until it reaches. And it's the same thing, but you overdo it too much. It sounds, put your finger, it's too loud, unnatural. Oh. You put a candle outside when it's windy and blowing wind a lot, that candle flame is going to automatically blow out straight away the moment you take it outside. It goes out, doesn't it? And you try and light it again, the match goes out. You try and a cigarette lighter, flame goes out. You got to get that sort of wind, that sort of factor, that sort of wind. You ain't going to get that in the movie in Twister. Total different thing. Now I've given you an idea, haven't I? Now you've got to work on it. You've got to work on it. I've seen seats that bounce up and down with the bass. Now you've got to do something different. Because every movie I see is so like vehicles go past you and all this, and and it's like you hear the sound. Yeah, I hear the same sound in real life, except one thing is missing: pushing the air. That's the one element that's completely missing. And you can try it in the surrounds, and a truck moving by, and you check the frequency response and all that. And you think, I don't think it's going to be enough there for that to do. Even if I make a customized speaker, it's just not enough there to do a kind of, and it's got to come out a new breed of port, a new breed. Can't just have a single port and it's located up there somewhere. Bloody hell, that's not going to work. You got a bloody 30-ton bloody lorry going about 30 mile an hour, pulling a bloody trailer behind it, and it goes past you. You get a poof, you're hit by this wall of air. It's like, get your hand and move it towards your face, and then just halt, and then halt. It's pushing air, and you can feel it going against your nose or your forehead. But that's only a small area. You get a larger board, or someone to hold a large board, a piece of wood, and then move that, and then you'll feel that a little bigger size, and you'll feel it like, oh yeah. But you think that size, and it's pushing that a certain distance, and then stops, and then I don't think you're going to get a bass driver that's going to have an excursion of 3 feet or 4 feet or something. Not even a Back to the Future, not even one of those Ascendos. Oh god, overpriced, overrated. I don't think they sell many. The idea principle seems okay, but really, 80 grand or something for a bloody, when it's mostly made out of what? MDF or something else, and you think, okay, what's the actual driver cost? I like this color in the abyss. Oh, the reflection. I should be using my smoke machine. I haven't used the smoke machine, but I don't think I want to use that at the moment. I'll turn this abyss laserdisc off in a moment and then put the DVD back on. But there's so much edge enhancement on this one. James Cameron, really. You need to go to Specsavers, for Christ's sake. And see a bloody and see an audiologist while you're at it, because there's obviously something wrong with your hearing. Bloody near field mixes, really. It's just like Pink Floyd. Dun 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 dun. And James Cameron is just another DNA in the wall. Dun dun dun. Hey, James, leave that DNR alone. Oh. So True Lies is not going to be any better than the bloody laserdisc. I wonder what version is better. Is it the DVHS, the D Theatre? I have no idea. But the absurdity of the price for that DVHS, really. I'm not seeing any bloody videos on YouTube where it's showcased A, B, C, D E comparison of that, going through the VHS tape, Laserdisc, Betamax, if there was a Betamax version, D Theatre and DVD, and this Italian or Spanish or German version, whatever it is, that of a bootleg version. If a bootleg version looks better than, obviously, there's some out there that are so pissed off, and I don't see anything wrong with a bootleg, especially now where it could be done, a bit better than what they were done when they were a long time ago, and they looked absolutely atrocious. Yeah, I would buy a bootleg. I will say, fuck it, I've had enough of Blu-ray. I've had enough buying so-called legit versions when they don't even look legit because they botched it up on purpose just so they can use the excuse later on, we're sorry about that. Oh, we'll release it again. Oh, we'll send you out a replacement. Quality control, bloody hell. Their QC is terrible. What donkeys are they bloody hiring? But maybe they got good engineers, but maybe they don't want them like perfect good. I think we're going to have to be forced to get in it bootleg, or rather maybe change the word bootleg because it sounds very foul, that word. Someone that cares about the bloody fucking thing, other than the bloody studio, because obviously they don't. The only thing they care about is making the greedy bloody money, capitalist fucking bastards. And someone else that would do a really smashing, good-looking copy, sound, theatrical mix, picture quality, spot on, Q dots, grain, scratches, fucking hell. It's like watching it back at the cinema. And you can play that copy over and over and over again. Won't get any more scratches on it like real film will. And I think we'll have to be forced to say, fuck you, we've had enough of your 4K, because your standards suck. The specifications are okay, but your standards suck. Oh gosh. Oh, feeding time. Oh, it's feeding time. Yeah, feeding time. Oh, all right. One more for the road. One more for the road. Oh, and I'll switch over to the. One more for the road. I think the STDS has been handling okay tonight. It's been handling okay. A little bit sluggish on that fader. A little bit slow. It's this part here. I mean, I could take that one out and swap it over with the other one because it's the. Or I can look up the the component and see if I can get something that's near close to it. But it's got to be the same ohmage and everything. It's got to be the same spec. But it's just a little bit slowish on there. My processor was made around about 95, I think. There's not many of them on eBay at the moment. Not at a very cheap price. But price will come down eventually. Price will come down. It'll probably come down an extra 100, and then it needs to come down at least down to within 100 range. 100 range, because I've seen most D3000s selling for about 110 or less than £80. And that processor is about, I think at the time would have been around about 15 or 20 grand. Many cinemas have had that, paid out for that, and then they're not using it much in their, weird. It's puzzling. You got only 200 titles of STDS 8-channel, and all the rest of 1,000 or so 6-channel. So they didn't. Yeah. Switch over to the projector in a moment. Switch that over to the OLED. I might as well just do it now. Turn that on. That's the on button. Turn it off. It's very quick when you turn these things off. Boom. Boom. It's turned off. Wow, that is quick. Put the OLED back on. I'm going to have to either be the laserdisc or the DVD. Not that 4K. I can't watch it. It's totally unwatchable in that pig's lipstick, and that bloody near field. That's it. I'm over and done. Say no to 4K. Abyss. Say no to Aliens. Mostly. It's a load of rubbish in 4K. Say no to True Lies, because it is a load of true fucking lies. Shame on you, James Cameron.